Masturbating is completely normal, a sentence that the modern medical realm has repeated an infinite number of times. But is it though? And if so, why is there a large subsect of the male populace, especially a subsect, which is monumentally successful and excelling in every realm advocating against it? Quite a conundrum, isn't it? You might tell yourself self-assuring nonsense like "I got it under control," or "if I really wanted to stop, I could." But ask yourself a genuine question: could you really? And if something is truly hard to stop, no matter what others tell you, it's unfortunately an addiction. And an addiction, no matter what it may be, is still an out-of-control equation that you need to eliminate from your life at the earliest. But fear not, because we at the Gentleman's Guidepost is here with a foolproof solution that'll give you guaranteed success and would ensure you never belittle yourself with that self-condescending and heinous act ever again. And stick around till the end to find out the ultimate secret that'll make your journey to a life without masturbation a reality. Before we dive in, I apologize for the sensational cover, but I wanted to grab your attention to discuss this significant issue of the 21st century that impacts both young people and adults, weakening our willpower and making us feel like lesser men. In this video, you'll learn what happens to our brains from both a scientific and philosophical standpoint, and what Stoicism can teach us about this behavior. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell to stay updated. Now, let's get started. Modern medicine clearly states that masturbation is entirely normal, not only in humans but also in dogs and other mammals. However, this hasn't always been the case. In the past, masturbation was considered immoral, particularly for men, as it was thought to waste semen and prevent reproduction. For women, it was believed that masturbation would make them less interested in men by finding pleasure on their own. Alongside this moral viewpoint, there were claims that masturbation caused diseases, making it something to avoid altogether. Returning to the present, what do we know about masturbation, especially for men with insomnia? It's known to help induce sleep. The French Institute of Health and Medical Research found that the male brain reduces sexual desire after orgasm. The cerebral cortex, responsible for conscious thought, goes into rest mode once a man climaxes, nullifying the desire for further sexual activity and aiding sleep. Thus, many men fall asleep after sexual activity. So, what's the issue? Hidden in one of its benefits is a trap, which we'll explore. Masturbation releases dopamine in your brain, a hormone that makes us feel good, providing calm, stress relief, and a sense of reward. This pleasurable feeling can lead to addiction. In 2017, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders recognized a new condition called hypersexuality disorder, categorizing excessive masturbation as part of obsessive-compulsive disorder. This can lead to mental and familial destruction, making one a slave to their own lack of control, potentially seeking relationships with prostitutes, multiple sexual partners, or excessive consumption of pornography. Pay attention, addiction to masturbation arises from chemicals released in the brain. As the brain adapts to these releases, it craves the stimulation that caused them. This creates a cycle where the brain demands more dopamine to achieve the same pleasure, leading to repeated masturbation. When the brain recognizes the excessive release of dopamine, it starts blocking receptors to try and stop this cycle. As a result, the act of masturbation no longer brings the same pleasure, leading to frustration. This is similar to behaviors seen in smokers, compulsive eaters, or alcoholics, and most people who regularly indulge in masturbation often feel a sense of spiritual emptiness within afterward, which takes a toll on their overall well-being in the long run. You might be wondering, what does Stoicism have to do with this? The Stoics, such as Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus, addressed pleasure and lust from a unique perspective. They viewed masturbation not just as a quest for physical satisfaction but as a chance to explore the limits of the body and mind. They saw it as an exercise in self-awareness and a path to true freedom. In their philosophy, mastering worldly passions and pleasures was a way to elevate the human spirit. Epictetus emphasized that it is not indulgence but self-control that defines a good person. In this context, being able to enjoy pleasure while understanding and containing it is what sets apart someone with higher self-awareness. Instead of being slaves to our desires, we must master them. As Seneca's philosophical perspective suggests, Stoic reflection on masturbation is about deep understanding and self-mastery, not just repression. This involves directing our emotions toward conscious self-exploration, finding satisfaction not just in momentary pleasure but in understanding and embracing our deepest inclinations. According to Stoicism, every action has consequences for ourselves and the natural order of the universe. Uncontrolled masturbation disconnects us from this harmony, making us prisoners of our desires and robbing us of true inner peace. Compulsive masturbation can lead to guilt, shame, and dissatisfaction. The Stoics teach us to manage our emotions through introspection and self-regulation. By facing our emotions consciously, we can handle them in healthy and constructive ways. The Stoics encourage us to seek inner peace, finding true satisfaction in self-mastery and joy in simplicity and virtue. Let me share an inspiring personal story. I have a close childhood mate, let's call him Adam, who struggled with compulsive masturbation for over a decade. I've seen Adam trying to break the habit, but succumbing to the temptation numerous times, and every time he would fail, his self-worth would be damaged a bit more. He would count the week, the days, and sometimes even the hours that he had not fallen to the devil's calling. But the more he tracked it, the more he seemed to be drawn closer to breaking his vow. But after over a decade of trial and error, Adam finally figured out the key, the ultimate secret to not masturbate ever again. And once he did, he's been off of that disgusting habit for 23+ months to this day. How did he do it? This is what he told me, in the exact words of a man who's finally gained authority over his own thoughts after over a decade of emotional and spiritual suffering. So, according to the man himself, the trick is to not just want to break the habit, but instead, cultivating a sense of hate towards it. And if you think logically, it makes complete sense. If you're looking to break any habit, but you love said habit, you would eventually gravitate towards it and end up in the clutches of temptation sooner rather than later. But what if you truly hate something? What if you couldn't stand the mere thought of it? Would count the days like an idiot while simultaneously missing it? Or would you be glad it left your life? And that day, my eyes were opened. I had started enjoying the sin so much, I couldn't break away from it, and it wasn't easy to start hating it. I had to consciously analyze and realize just how much it was taking away from my serenity and well-being. It took me months, maybe even over a year, but it did end up manifesting. And once I put all the pieces together, making sure it stuck in my subconscious for good, I finally broke away from it, and it's been over a year. And this is the best part, the greatest secret that nobody told me, but I'll let you in on it. So listen closely. After you cross the 90-day mark, you win, almost permanently. You see, the urge is not everlasting, because once you don't do it for 3 months straight, your brain kind of gets rewired and your body's constant calling for that cheap dopamine hit subsides and eventually goes away. Remember, seeking temporary refuge and pleasure but facing emotional turmoil afterward is the worst trade-off ever. By immersing yourself in Stoic teachings and practicing self-control, you can undergo a profound transformation. It's a simple blueprint. It only requires constant attention and regular work, which will make sure you win. Maybe not immediately, but definitely. And every person that has tried this ever has only achieved success. They learn to confront their desires and emotions consciously, finding true joy in self-control. Now, they live a life of inner peace and authenticity, free from the grip of momentary desires. True satisfaction comes from living according to our deepest principles and values. When we give in to fleeting desires, we lose sight of what truly matters. Compulsive masturbation can divert us from our highest purposes and the happiness found in virtue and inner peace. Through meditation and mindfulness, we can achieve the mental serenity needed to resist temptations and face our emotions healthily. This compulsion hinders mental serenity, leading to regret and moving us away from the peace found in self-control and moderation. Hit that subscribe button to join Gentleman's Guidepost, the only community you need to become unstoppable in your pursuit of greatness. Thank you for watching.